So we have two different kinds of ITEP programs here at Queen's. We have a campus-based program and we have a community-based program. And the community-based program is the one that we've been growing over time, that's in 5 locations right now.
Apart from the first term, the first July of the program, which is when the teacher candidates come to Kingston, the rest of the program is delivered from their community, which is really nice, especially when people have family responsibilities, when they have children, childcare responsibilities, when they have community responsibilities. They don't have to move to Kingston to become a teacher.
So the campus-based program is integrated into the campus-based BEd, and it's in tandem with one of the concentrations. So every student in our program has a concentration, and ITEP is a program kind of within that.
Quality teaching and learning can only take place when 3 things happen. Number 1, kids feel safe. And so we do a lot of stuff to make sure the kids feel safe in schools. Number 2, kids feel like they belong. And that's about relationship building. That's about seeing themselves in the school. And then number 3, kids see themselves in the curriculum they're learning.
Yeah, we do a lot of activities out on the land. I think something that is unique about this program is it doesn't really take the typical form of traditional education, so lecturing and whatnot. When I was a student, as well as right now as an instructor, I try to do a lot of practical hands-on activities. So things like making raw hide shakers or going out in the land and exploring nature and the language and what we can learn from the land.
This move towards increasing Indigenous voice in leadership, making the decisions, having the opportunity to see an educational experience that is their own is very important.
Each ITEP program site, we partner with an Indigenous site partner. So for the Mushkegowuk Territory site, for example, I work with our site coordinator to have her identify those times of the year that culture breaks happen. So I don't want to be scheduling learning weekends while they're out on the land. That makes no sense. So we try to schedule it just before or just after in order to make space for those activities while supporting our teacher candidates.
But something that's unique about our ITEP program too is we have the opportunity to do a 3-week alternative practicum, which consists of doing a practicum outside of a traditional classroom. And so kind of the requirements for that program is some sort of connection to Indigenous education.
So for some sites, our teacher candidates live close to the land. This isn't something new they're doing. They're just doing it now for our program. But for other sites, especially when people are returning back to their heritage or they're getting more familiar with their heritage and their culture, it's a great opportunity for them to develop more experience, get more comfortable with learning or relearning Indigenous languages and doing Indigenous cultural activities.
So there's kind of no limit when it comes to alternative practicum, which just allows the students to explore the potential of using their education in a non-traditional setting.
When you've got something like ITEP, you have to understand the knowledge level that people are entering with, and then assess and create assignments and create course material that meets each student where they're at. Once people know that they are valued for who they are, then they're more willing to take risks and they're more willing to think creatively and to critique.
It's a program that prepares people for working in the classroom, but I think it also allows people to develop skills in a lateral way that can be used in other pursuits.
We're not just creating teachers, we're trying to help restore and contribute to restoring communities. It's bigger than just a person getting a job and earning an income and having a career as a teacher. It's about changing the face of the community.
I find that the community that we create, we all accept the gifts that we can bring to one another and we learn from one another, and actually having the two perspectives come in together, settler and Indigenous educators, is really helpful to be able to support one another.
So one of the best things about this job and about teaching ITEP is that when you build community and build relationship and let the students know that you really do care about them, those relationships are maintained. And so I get students emailing me with pictures of babies and emailing me about work that they're doing in school boards across the country, internationally. I get to go into those spaces and see people that I've taught now leading, and they're thriving. And the amount of impact that ITEP students who I've gotten to witness teach have made in the community is just indescribable.
We've made progress for sure, but there's still a lot of progress to still be made. And with Indigenous education, it's not just helpful for Indigenous students, it's also helpful for non-Indigenous students as well. So I think more exposure for both groups is really important in order to, work towards what we're calling reconciliation in our country. And I do think that education is really foundational in that, and that'll translate into other areas of our life as well.